Hey guys, brand new podcast. And I am heading down under. Tops Off World Tour is going down to New Zealand, Auckland on April 17th, Wellington, April 19th. Those are the only tickets available. Melbourne sold out, Perth, Brisbane, Sydney, everything's sold out. So I will see you guys down under. And then we come back up for Fully Loaded, Forest Hills, New York, Baltimore, Maryland, Moosic, PA, Guilford, Traverse City, Fort Wayne, Indiana, St. Louis, Lincoln, Nebraska, Huntsville, New Orleans, Memphis, Oklahoma City, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Boise, and ending at the Gorge July 15th. It is a banger lineup. Me, Lewis Black, Dave Attell, Tiffany Haddish, Mark Norman, Shane Gillis, Big J. Okerson, Dan Soder, Rosebud Baker, Tammy Pescatelli, Chad Daniels, Jim Norton, Rich Voss. We just added Rich Voss. This lineup's fuck. I know I'm forgetting people, but go to fullyloadedfestival.com or bert.com to get your tickets. I'll see you on the road. All right. Great podcast, everyone. Oh, and check out my movie, The Machine, Memorial Day weekend. The person on today's podcast was up to play the villain in the movie. I'm interested how that movie would have turned out. She's an amazing fucking actress. Iliza is a fucking great actress. She was in a movie with Marky Mark. Did you see that? She was fucking great. She's an amazing comedian. She's an amazing mom. She's awesome. I absolutely love her. You know, I'm very lucky to have a bunch of women in comedy that reminded me of my sister and both of my sisters. So I kind of became friends with, and I really, my sisters are very funny. And so women like Iliza and Nikki, and I mean, I'm gonna stop naming names, but like, there's a bunch of names. Obviously, there's a bunch of women in comedy that I absolutely adore, and they make me giggle like my sisters. And I've been lucky enough to have relationships with for now, I mean, close to 18 years, almost 20 years. And it's really fucking cool. And the coolest part is they know my wife, they know my girls, and my girls have looked at these women like aunts. I mean, they come over to the house and they're all these girls are cool as shit. And, they're 20 years younger than Leanne. And so they're like, they come over and they got like cool shoes on and stuff. And so I think I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky to have the friendships I do. I really am. And this woman is a good friend of mine. I absolutely adore her. She is fucking hilarious. And she's got a new book called All Things Aside, Absolutely Correct Opinions. You can buy it at Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Go pick it up. Support her, ladies and gentlemen. My friend, stand-up comedian, Iliza Shlesinger.
I went out to dinner last night with my husband and like this other couple in Valentine's Day.
Is that, hang on, put a pin in the story.
That's a flex. That
No. Is it fun to eat with your husband? I think it would be so much fucking fun.
He is the most fun. And he will you should go one time, like they'll do like dumpling crawls in San Gabriel Valley. They did a research crawl in Nashville because he was opening up this chicken restaurant. So they had to go eat a ton of different fried chickens. And I was just like, I'll pass, but I'll see you guys at the show. So he does these. He just did his book tour for his cookbook, and he like went on like this food crawl. So they do Valley bar crawls. And like,
I want to.
I should have brought you a copy of it.
I want to just go out to dinner with him and go, order for me, please. Just order for me. Tell me what to get.
So
that's my favorite thing. Is that's the beauty. That's the flex your husband gets on in any moment.
Yes.
Is he goes, you want me to just order for the table? And everyone goes, this is the best meal I've ever had.
He'll do it. I mean, he's happy to let everyone, like there's like no ego about it. But sometimes like there's like the trope about like women like, I don't know what I want to eat. And I'm like that. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, here's what you want. And like in the sweetest, I'm like, you're right. I do want an uni taco. You're absolutely right. I'm so glad someone said it. It's great.
But go back to your story.
But also because he knows about every ingredient. He's like, I know this isn't from here. Not in an annoying way, but in a like, oh, you're not going to like that. Try this. Yeah. Because he knows I'm like weird about what I eat.
Oh, great. All right, but go back to your story. You go out to eat with your husband and some friends.
No, we just went out to eat last night. And it's this. Have you been to, I'll give him a shout out because they're so tasty, to Anajak here on Ventura.
No.
It is like, it's one of the hardest reservations in LA.
Oh, really?
To get. We didn't get it because of Noah. We got it because of a friend. It's not like I'm too cool for school. But it's Thai food. You ever go to like night market?
No.
Okay.
I don't go out to eat enough. I'm never home.
It's fucking dope Thai food with like incredible wines and like they play hip hop. Like it's just awesome. And they do a Taco Tuesday. So they have like incredible ingredients and dry fish, all this. And it's just cool. It's like modernized, super cool, like millennial Thai food. And we went, my point is, it never even occurred to me to post a picture. And I wonder if I'm aging out of it a little bit. Or since I've had a daughter, like I post a lot less and a lot less of myself. And I just kind of, it's not about like being in the moment. I just kind of like, I spent so many years posting. And you look back at some of your posts, you're like, that was so lame, especially like in the early days of like Twitter, like I'm eating a burrito. Like, who cares?
You had some great posts of, you were fun to watch. You were really fun to watch.
Thank you.
But no, you were a fun follow because you were fun on Instagram. You were great on stories. You were very relatable. And I feel like
there's certain comics I follow and it's good because it gives you like a cue on like how to up your game. I'm not even talking like stand-up wise, but like it never occurred to me to like do stuff on the road until I saw Angela Johnson like with a crew like, hey, we're going for the best tacos or we're going to a group yoga. I'm like, oh, I can enjoy myself and not just like be hungover.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so like the more we do this, the more money we make, the more following other comics just to see like, oh, what graphics package did they made a video of that. That's a good idea.
Ooh, I got hit up by a couple people about my lighting package.
There you go.
Yeah, like they were like, ooh, I like your lighting package. Can you tell me what you did? And I go, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We're going surfing in Orlando. We're in New Smyrna Beach on Saturday. We're going to the Daytona 500 on Sunday.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm bad because when I did the Hot Summer Night Store at the drive-ins, we just had to fill our days with shit to do. So we we rented a boat and went out, and what you did, the one, not Martha's Vineyard, up in Cape Cod.
I did.
We rented a boat and went out to the ocean.
Oh man, our days are very different.
Oh, I'm hardcore. So I can get caught up in my own head if I don't do stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
it makes you healthier mentally.
Yeah.
To just not be like sitting staring at Instagram. But I just meant like the content of our activities.
Oh.
Like we played Vermont recently, so we took a historical tour on the Spirit of Ethan Allen boat, and
Really?
I learned like all about Ethan Allen. It's not just a furniture company, and like Vermont's role in the American Revolution. And then we went to like a museum.
Sounds fucking awesome.
And then we'll take like a Pilates class, and then like we'll get a fun coffee. It's like hanging out with your girlfriends.
That sounds great. Who do you tour with?
My opener is a guy named Hunter Hill.
Yeah.
Who's awesome. And I love watching my fans become his fans. And sometimes I'll take like Laura Peak. I have
I know Laura Peak.
Logan Guntelman's gonna come. She's a story girl. She'll come do a bit here. And then like in Europe, when I go by myself, sometimes I'll just like let local people of that country open.
Really?
For me.
Really?
Yeah.
I would never in a million fucking years.
Yeah.
And I watched you go to Europe one time.
Yeah.
You did Europe, I think, before I ever did Europe. I watched you do Europe, and it looked so fucking fun on your Instagram.
On my Instagram.
I loved it. I loved your Instagram.
I think I post more abroad, I guess, versus like day to day, but I do always feel compelled to post the dog. I guess I just don't like it when it becomes like this compulsive, like you have to post.
Mm-hmm.
Then like the comic in me is like, well, I don't want to. Like, I don't want to detail this. Like, I want... You might get a day of like 15 stories about my dog, and the next day will be about women's rights. Like, and then the next day, nothing.
Well, I think that like, I don't post, I don't talk, I don't think anything political. I have a buddy who's running for city council, and he asked me to bring him up on stage, and I was like, absolutely fucking not.
No, because that means you're endorsing him.
Yeah. But I don't even, by the way, I stay out of that shit so much. I have a joke in my new special that we were doing an interview, and she said, this is the closest I've ever seen you get to political. And I was like, it's not political, it's comedy. The whole story is, and I say it pretty directly, like the whatever subject we're talking about in this, I want everyone to enjoy the joke, but I think, and sometimes I say, don't apply your politics, because this story isn't about politics. The story is about comedy. About the best time to tell a joke is when everyone's super serious. Mm-hmm. And when everyone's super serious about politics and you slide in a joke, it's the fucking greatest moment ever.
Because it breaks the tension.
And that's what I live for. That is what my life is defined by. Not finding my hill or my soapbox to get on and preaching, but finding the moment to be goofy and silly.
I think look, there's a billion different comics and a billion different audiences. If Netflix has shown us nothing, it's that there are micro audiences, massive audiences. Like you can find your comic. And I think it's okay to never be political. I mean, Sebastian is one of the biggest comics, not political.
But the one time he went on MTV and he was kind of attacking millennials.
Right. Well, that's not political though. That's an old person's opinion, and it's funny.
Old person's
also,
opinion,
nobody watches MTV, so it's okay.
It was a good.
It was when he hosted.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has that right. And by the way, you can be non-political and tomorrow, like something happens to one of your daughters and you're like, now I got to say something. We are allowed to pick these things up and set them down because at the end of the day, we are comics. So you can take what I say seriously, but I'm not running for office. And if I make a statement and then I retract it, like I make a lot of statements and it's not my job to stand by it forever. You're not voting for me. You're here for an hour of laughs.
Yeah. I definitely don't think if I would never win a political race in a million years. What's interesting,
because I'm not sure how the Senate works. So like if they like really got to like questions, I'd be like, I'm not positive how our judicial system works.
I met Corey, not Corey
Feldman.
Glover, no. Corey, who was the guy?
Booker?
Corey Booker.
Okay.
Right. I met Corey Booker. He was dating Rosario Dawson, and Rosario and I were in line to do a photo shoot, and he was with her, and I said, "You're Rosario's guy," and he was like, "Yeah," and Rosario's like, "Bert doesn't know anything about politics." I go, "You a politician?" And he goes, "I am." I didn't know who he was. I'd never heard of Corey Booker, and I was like, "Cool." I go, "What do you do?" Like, oh no, I said, "You make a living doing that?" And he goes, "It's like what they always ask
I'm dating
comics.
her.
It's always when they always ask comics, do you make money doing that?"
Oh, I've got a story for you.
Okay.
Basically, here's the story. But by the way, like I think that's all fine. Like if you do political.
Oh, by the way, my Corey Booker story's not even over.
Oh,
it got way worse.
Oh,
it got way fucking worse.
Okay.
Oh no, I said, which one? This is what when you said I don't know how the Senate works. I go, so what do you do? And he goes, I'm a senator or whatever. And I go, is that the one with 2 or the one with how many your state is? And he goes, well, he doesn't know anything about politics. I go, do you want to be president one day? And he looked at me dead serious. He goes, I just ran for president. And I looked at him. I go, did you win?
That's so fucked. That's the equivalent. That's even worse, Bert.
Yeah. And he looked at Rosario. She's like, he doesn't know anything about politics.
I don't know this motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of like, when are you coming to my city? You're like, I literally left last night. You're like, but I'm a fan.
Put a pin in that because I have a theory about marketing that marketing done well is when you're leaving that city and no one says that to you. Everyone says, how was the show at Red Rocks, Bert?
Yeah.
And you go, it was great. And they're like, I couldn't make it. It was sold out.
I couldn't make it because it was sold out. Not like, no, I couldn't.
Yeah, Great marketing is when you leave a city and everyone knows you were at that city.
My agent's like, I'll be like, should we do another show? He'll be like, leave him in the streets. And you're just like,
God, who's your agent?
Well, no, but like, it's,
I like this.
You could do several shows, but then it's like, do you want to add that one that isn't going to feel as good? Like maybe you did X amount and you can't fill that last one. In your case, that 13th show. Leave them in the streets because that way they will not fucking sleep on buying those tickets next time.
No, I mean, there's a real argument. I want to hear your story. I'm interrupted your story, but there's an argument for doing not smaller venues, but like say like a 2,000 seater or a 1,200 seater, and keep adding and then cut it off and go, we're clean. We did 4 shows.
Oh yeah,
clean. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Or you can do. I just played Australia, and I'm sitting there. I'm feeling really.
Were you there when Tom was there?
I don't think so.
Were you just there?
Uh-huh.
He was there when there.
Yeah. I don't think he was there. No, because I only think Chappelle was there at the same night. No.
Oh.
I mean, yes, but it was like literally last week, like the week before.
Yeah, he just got back.
I only
Super Bowl
heard
Sunday.
No, I was here Super Bowl Sunday.
No, he did too. He got back from Australia Super Bowl Sunday.
I just don't think we were. I could be wrong because I was talking to Jeff and he was like, because they were there. Maybe he was, but I don't know.
Oh, Jeff Tate.
Ross.
Oh, Jeff Ross
was with Chappelle.
Yeah.
And so I knew like the Red Hot Chili Peppers were playing. And so but I was Sydney and Melbourne and then I did New Zealand. So we could have crossed in the night sky. But I'm sitting backstage and I'm feeling really good about the sold out shows and my thing. And then I hear about how much Jimmy Carr works. Do you know him?
Yeah.
He's such a nice guy. And like, people are always saying to me, they're like, wow, you work so hard. And I'm like, yeah, I do. I really earned it. And then I looked at his schedule. I don't think there is a theater, nary a yurt, a stage, a box with an opening that he won't play. He is all over Australia, cities you've never heard of. And it's like, boom, boom, boom. And then it's like 3 arenas. And then he'll play your fucking high school auditorium.
Pull up Jimmy Carr's schedule. I'm dying to see this.
It took me back. I had to sit for a second and I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? And he's massive.
Oh, he's so talented and he's the nicest guy in the fucking world.
He's so nice.
He's the nicest guy in the world. We did that's not the way you pull up someone's schedule, but
what did you go to, like Ask Jeeves?
I know.
And then Googled Google?
Googled Google.
Go to Australia or Australasia, whatever he did. Anyways, the point is,
go to Australia.
That says Australasia. So that means he's all over it.
Oh, whoa.
I'm
stealing that.
Yeah.
I'm stealing that.
Look at this. Look at this. This is every night. And I get you could, whatever, a new Hamer Hall. I just played Hamer Hall. Look at how many fucking Hamer Halls he has. And then we're still on that coast, Australia. And then you've never heard of Ulaanbaatar. State Theater. I just played the State Theater. Jeez. Look at all these state theaters in a foreign market. Look, and then Wollongong, you've never heard of that. Geelong, Costa. Look at these halls he's finding.
Wow.
I had to catch my breath. So if you think you're working hard, just remember Jimmy Carr is out there doing the rest of the work for you.
Just so you know, he doesn't need the money.
I mean, you must have one hell of a coke habit.
No, he's. I think you know a story, right?
Mm-mm.
He was like.
We're still scrolling, by the way, just in Australia.
He's in April. He's still in. I'm going to be in Australia in April. He's still in Australia in April?
Yes.
What is he doing? Residency in Australia?
Just the country. There's the city of Brisbane. Toowoomba. He's playing a fucking automatic vacuum.
Hold on. He's in Australia from January to April?
This is it for him.
He's still in there in May.
In May!
When my movie, The Machine, comes out, in Memorial Day weekend, Jimmy Carr will still be in fucking Australia.
Still in Australia. He's
got to have a child there or something. He's got to have a mistress.
He brings his whole family.
No way.
He brings the whole family. Because we have the same touring people that brought us over. And so there's sometimes you look at other comics. Like I passed Dodger Stadium. I drove by it. This is months ago. And Gabriel Iglesias was shooting his special there. And I shot him a DM. I was like, we've never actually met, but I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
Like I was doing the math in my head. And I finally met him recently. And I was like, did you get my DM? He's like, the thing about autism? I was like, I think you're thinking of like another blonde person who DM'd you.
About autism?
But sometimes like you can't even be jealous because they are worlds away from anything you do.
I think that with people even that you could be jealous. I go, you can't be jealous because I think it doesn't feed you. I look at Jimmy Carr's schedule and I go, good. I don't have it that bad because I'll pity myself at times. Like, cause my schedule is pretty aggressive and I don't have off days, and so I don't get an off day. I get like I podcast, and on off days, and I shoot. I have a cooking show. I have three podcasts, and so I'm shooting all the time during my off days, and I can get woe is me. And then people go, whoa, you need to slow down. And then I go, no, you don't. You don't need to slow down. There's dudes that dig holes every day.
Yeah.
There's people that do real jobs every day, and they do it all day long. And it's funny when you hear people getting burned out. You're like, for what?
I don't know. I feel like we all have different emotional bandwidths, and you can get burned out depending on, like, I have a baby. She's 13 months old. Yeah. So it's not burned out because burned out also suggests that you don't like what you're doing. Yeah. So it's not even burned out as much as like I didn't anticipate how much I would miss her. Oh. Like you don't know till you go. And so
isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And so that's something that you eventually get a grip on. But there's also something to be said for, like, you and I do similar things, but then there's a lot of things that I do that you don't do, or you do that I don't do. And so I know for me, like, if you are at the helm of everything, like if it is your podcast, the book I'm writing, the movie that I am reading for, the one that I'm writing for, the TV show you're trying to pitch, like, people don't think about, once you have a thing, like a podcast is your podcast. Mm-hmm. You can drop in and you can do it and you can leave. You're not pitching the podcast, you know? So there's as a comic, I don't have to ask anyone's permission, but as a producer and as a creator of things that you're trying to build and worlds you're trying to make on TV, like, that's exhausting. Like the constant no, you know? Yeah. And so it's not one versus the other. It's just every once in a while you're like, you know what? I will take today to just sit here quietly and stare at my phone, or say I'm going to get a massage, but then just scrunch up my neck and stare at the phone more. There's just and then it makes you even stronger for the next day, but you still go do your sets.
Room for creativity.
You have to. You need like a break just so you can get re-energized.
Yeah, and just think weird thoughts.
And think weird thoughts.
And allow yourself that. That's what I've. Today I isolated that I am not allowing myself any room for creativity, and then I don't. Jimmy Carr is prolific. He writes like crazy. He writes nonstop. He has a hunger. Me and Tom ran into him in Melbourne, in Montreal. Was when we first met him.
Yeah.
And he asked if he could step on and do a guest set, and we were like, and I think the show was a booked show, and everyone's like, yeah, you can do a guest set. And Tom had pulled up his net worth, and he goes, take a look at this. And he showed it to me, and he goes, he doesn't need to do guest sets.
No, none of us need to do guest sets.
Yeah.
You do it. I mean, we all have that hunger. You do it. You pick up as many as you can.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask you. I mean, I know you tour often, but because I never see you at the comedy all the time. Well, I guess that's the answer.
I live on the fucking road.
So then that's why I never see you.
Yeah, I'm never home. I'm home. Today was my first day home in a month and a half, and then I was on tour. I was getting ready for a special. So if I'm getting ready for a special, I tour every day. I live on the bus, and so I live on my tour bus.
What about your kids?
George is in college. Isla's 16.
Oh my God, in my mind, they're like 10-year-old. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, these are children. How could he leave his children?
No, yeah, George is in college, and Isla is the one that's killing me because she had never, ever had they asked where I was. And Isla's texted me a couple times, like, when are you coming home? Because we did this big Europe tour, and it was too much. I bit off more than I could chew. And then I went right from there to the Boston Garden, Maine. And then I think I kept going. Oh, and then we did 4 shows in Tempe at the Mullet Arena, and I'm like, literally I'm home 2 days. So we had dinner yesterday. We watched Grease last night, and then I'm off to Tampa.
And this is what you have to. People don't think about it or talk about it. Like, these are the things that you have to think about, and this is part of being a parent.
Well, how long can you? I'm curious because I feel like I, in hindsight, probably made mistakes, but there were mistakes I'm fine with making. In that I didn't have you've had an amazing career, a really amazing career, and earned it every step of the way. But I feel like I earned mine, but I didn't get it until later. Like, and so that's why I don't mind. All the decisions I made got me something. By the way, all those decisions I made could have not got me anything, and there would have been no regret. But how much longer? What's your trajectory look like with working with having a baby?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a massive fall tour coming up, and so I decided we had a movie planned for the spring, and and now it might be the summer. And also, like, I'm okay with taking June, July off because it's just there's so much. You're competing with the weather. Like, people want to be like out on their boats. And I've always toured all year long. My whole career, I didn't know that some people didn't do it. And so
I remember hearing that. And I remember my first person was Ali Wong.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, she's not touring for the next year. And I went,
because she has, right.
Like a year.
A year.
Did you say year?
She also has like a couple of TV, like she's doing okay.
No, but she also, when she decides to tour, she'll just go out and make like $10 million in a market and then go home and be like, I'm actually good.
Bring it back home.
Yeah.
And I think the cool thing about comedy, and like when you're coming up and you're competing, there's no room for a conversation like this. Like, it feeds everybody differently. Some people, like, they make a fuck ton of money and they can do that. Some people enjoy the hang of it. Some people are like Jimmy Carr. Like, there's no right or wrong way. And as long as it's serving you creatively and you're happy and you're not like owing money to like a bookie or something and doing it out of obligation. Some people also just need to make the money for their family. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as what you're putting out there is something that people are enjoying and you're proud of. I think with having her, like, I went to Iceland. I was like, I'm going to take a vacation. And then I was like, we'll do a show. And it was great. But it was like 8 days of like, I was like, this will be like a gift to myself. I'm turning 40. And I was just like, it is hard to travel and not work. And I actually don't think it's fun.
I don't think it's fun at all.
I can't sit on a beach. I will burn. And I enjoy that. You get off stage, you're like, now I can have, like, I don't drink before shows. I won't drink during the day. And now I can have a drink, or now I can sleep. Like, I believe in earning it. What?
I love it. You're saying everything I feel.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to say that. But you have to, like, you don't feel good about relaxing unless you just worked really, really hard at something. And so, like, I got a gig on Righteous Gemstones. So I moved my family to Charleston for 2 weeks.
Those are good guys.
Those are great guys. And we had a great time. And I had come off touring and, like, went right to that. And so there is that thing for like staying busy so you don't realize how tired you are. And then when you do stop, if you stop, then you realize like, oh, wow, I really did need a day off. So the answer is hopefully we sell these next couple of movies. Hopefully we sell this show and generate some passive income in the form of residuals and royalties.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. I just like creating stuff.
It's the draw. Like, I don't feel like it's a job. I feel like it's
not a job. Yeah. It's the best fucking job in the world, but it's not like, oh, I gotta go to work. It's like, I get excited for that. And my favorite time of day is after I do my sets. Like when I'm home, if I'm working stuff out, I come home and my husband goes to bed very early.
Really?
He has trouble sleeping, so he can fall asleep. And so it's like when he can fall asleep, like he just goes, not very like 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Okay. No, that's pretty fucking early.
It's early compared to us.
It's early compared to Leanne. Leanne will stay up till 1 in the fucking morning. I go, yeah. What are you doing? Yeah, you're not drinking.
She's like, I'm worrying.
She's making lists in her head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I've had oral sex with Leanne and go, are you making a list? And she goes, I can't help it.
Oh,
literally.
Truer words.
Yeah. So
yeah. Leanne is all of us. No. And so I'll come home and, you've got that buzz of like a great set and I come home and the house will be quiet and I'll just pull out like a huge snack, like a giant quesadilla or a whole thing of ice cream, or I'll grab it on the way home and I'll just sit quietly. The baby and the baby nurse are in their room and I will just eat and check my phone and just like enjoy the buzz of what we just did.
Yeah.
For like an hour maybe an hour, and then I
love that you say it's not worth it if you didn't earn it. I have a real, so I got an offer to write a self-help book, but it was based on the way I succeed.
Right.
Like, so like more people are like me than are like David Goggins.
Why don't you watch your specials?
Yeah. Just make fun of your kids.
Yeah.
But one of my, so I started like sincerely thinking maybe I'll write a self-help book. And like my number one thing was treats. That was not.
Oh yeah, you do talk about treats.
I love treats. I love treats. I love that. I love a treat. I love the excitement a treat brings you. Like tonight, my treat is I have meetings up until like 7:45. It's 8 o'clock, and then my car picks me up at 8:45, and I go. My treat is on my 7:30 meeting. I'm gonna make a cocktail. Make a cocktail and enjoy a cocktail during my meeting.
Not tell anyone. Get wasted. Say something I regret. Have them film it.
Boom. Done. No, it's a Zoom with publicists.
Yeah.
So I just got to hear their pitches. I'm not a big fan.
You could definitely be buzzed for that.
I got drunk for a table read.
Yeah, that's super respectful of the material.
It was. By the way, Josh Brolin said I killed it. So yeah, but he is the sexiest dude alive.
I would fall asleep. I think this is having a baby. Like if I have like one, like my tolerance is different.
For real?
I don't know where I fall in like the party spectrum. Some nights you get like a rabbit in you, and some nights I'm like, I have a headache. It was been one drink, I got to go to bed.
Sweet. When you did Australia or when you do Europe, do you bring a tour manager?
Yeah.
Like a local tour manager? Who do you bring with you?
I don't. Australia, I'll bring Hunter, and we have a tour manager that we've been working with for years there. In Europe, in the UK, I have a tour manager I work with just there that I've always worked with, and then in Europe, you kind of just get someone, which is great because I saw him. He came over for Iceland. So like it's all these same people. But I don't bring openers in Europe or the UK.
I had a team of 8 that was traveling with me.
8 what?
8.
You have a bigger...
I had a cameraman.
Yeah.
I had my personal trainer. I had Mark Smalls. I know, isn't that fucking ironic? But if I don't have a personal trainer, I fall to shit. Meaning so for me, working out, like I did an interview today with the Hollywood Reporter or whatever, and they were like... I said, they go, the first question, how you feeling? I said, great. I just got done the gym. I just saw I polar plunge. And they go, so you work out? And
so you work out?
Yeah.
So you work out.
But I don't work out to like be ripped. I enjoy it, but for me, it's a mental health thing.
Yes.
And if I don't work out, then I start to slide.
1,000%.
And so I bring a personal trainer with me to keep me honest. And I was really scared of my behavior in Europe.
Yeah.
Because I do drink on planes. And I go, if I have someone to keep me in check, then on these flights, then I give her like complete reins to go, let's plan our day. So first day in Oslo, she was like, I found a floating sauna in a fjord. Let's go sauna at 7 a.m. Let's just polar plunge. And then we'll come back, we'll have breakfast, we'll work out, and we'll go explore the city or pass out or whatever we want to do.
A little bit of structure, never hurt no one.
And so I bring a trainer with me. I had we had our tour manager, we had our promoter, and then we had my personal assistant. And so we had a group of 8.
I think I travel. First of all, I think you make I think you make a little bit more money than me.
No, we're probably.
I think you. Well, I like a streamlined thing. I have almost nothing in my writer.
I have an obnoxious writer.
Yeah, but you have more. You travel with more openers.
Yeah.
Yours is like, of course, it's stand up, but like it's a different vibe. I don't think you and I are the same comic.
No, we're not. You are 100 times. I would love to have your ability to write. I would love to have your ability.
I'm better than you. No, we just have a different product. And
yeah, but I wonder sometimes what your process is. Because
I do too. Sometimes I look back at specials. I'm like, when did you come up with that? I'm like, people will quote jokes. I'll be like, I don't remember that joke. But I like a stream. Like I'm a big, like, everybody wants to do their job and fucking go home. And all I want to do is make it easy. Like, that's why I get livid. It's part of why I hired a tour manager years ago, because I was like, I can't interact with these monkeys that get like lighting cues wrong. We have 3 lighting cues. We have 3 sound cues, and it's in between comics. So there's a visual cue for you. And when these things go wrong, like I will like sweat my hair out. And I try, like, I'm just like, just do your fucking job, show up, do it well. Yeah. I don't have the option to not do mine well and go home. And so my writer is literally, and this is pared down because I used to have blueberries on it. Is it feet on your couch?
No. I was looking at your fingernails.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking at your fingernails.
I got these done in Sydney.
Yeah, I was looking at your fingernails. I'm sorry. Put your feet all over the couch. I don't give a fuck. No, I'm looking at your fingernails. They look great. Yeah.
I don't know if they want to zoom in on that. It's 2 cans of Red Bull, glass bottles of water, try to reduce the plastic, and gum and hand sanitizer for when I meet people. Yeah. And I have 2, and even that, I have 2 cans of Red Bull. I probably won't even drink it because sometimes I get a coffee. And I came backstage one time and they were gone. And I look at my tour manager, who's like a golden retriever, and I was like, where's my Red Bull? And she was like, I drank it. I was so tired. I go, where's the other one? She goes, I had to have both.
Wow.
But that's it. We do that. I get it done. Like, I believe in, like, you have a package, you do your job. So people come up to you for the meet and greet, which they pay for. Mm-hmm. Some people don't realize that. They're like, thanks for doing this. I'm like, you bought this.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you exhausted? Do you hate this? I'm like, no one's forcing me to do this. This is a part of the presentation. Is I'm up for this. I nail my jokes. I'm here to meet you. But like, after that, we're done.
Yeah.
And I just want people to do their jobs and enjoy that experience and go home.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. When you're at your best, you can do great things, but sometimes life gets you bogged down and you may feel overwhelmed or like you're not showing up in the way you want to. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of yourself, because when you feel empowered, you're more prepared to take on everything life throws at you. Today, I'm working out, and the dogs don't have a collar on. This is a little inside baseball, but I remember a fight we got into because about the collar, and all of a sudden, all these anger reared up in me because girls take the collars off the dogs all the time. I have 150-pound dogs, and I started getting angry. I've been in therapy long enough to know that I need to isolate that and go, wait, what is this? I literally just talked to Leanne, and I said, hey, what's going on here? And she said, this is something you need to talk about with your therapist, because your therapist isn't part of your family. He's just, or she is just a person that you can walk through what happened, and they, like an investigator, can help you get to the bottom of things. If you're thinking about giving therapy a try, BetterHelp's a great option. It's convenient, it's flexible, it's affordable, and entirely online. I only do online therapy. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Listen to me. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/Bert today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Bert. This show is sponsored by Harry's Razors. When you're a child, you're like, oh, cool, I get to shave. And when you're a man, you're like, okay, I'll be doing this for the rest of my life. Why do razors cost so much? Harry's razors are incredibly sharp and made from their own factory in Germany. Most importantly, they cost as little as $2 per blade. Get a quality razor you can depend on, delivered straight to your door from Harry's. I have weird places that I shave. Right under here, right on the sides, and then right here. And I'm telling you, with a dull razor, I can't get it. But with a quality razor like Harry's, you can get a quality shave without the hassle with a $3 Harry's trial set. The starter set is a $13 value for just $3 at harrys.com/Bert. This includes a 5-blade German-engineered razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover. Plus, you can schedule replacement blades delivered whenever you need them. with refills as low as $2. Save the hassle, set up delivery, and get the best quality shave with Harry's. Get a $13 starter set for just $3 at harrys.com/Bert. That's harrys.com/Bert for a $3 starter set. I don't do meet and greets anymore.
Right. Well,
Like,
you would be there all night.
Well, I used to do a raffle for a meet and greet. So
Hunger Games.
Yeah. I would say, and everyone knew if you paid $50, you got the meet and greet. But but you could also put $1 in and win the meet and greet.
Right.
And now I do a meet and greet by the bus. Like when I'm done, the thing with the meet and greet, it would stress me out that I couldn't relax after my show. I had to sit down. They'd be like, "So they're ready to go. You ready to go? Because we got to turn the room." And I'd be like, "Yeah." I think also the bigger the venues for me, I was like, you end up with an astounding amount of people waiting by your bus. So I just say, if you're going to wait by my bus, I'll come out. I'll come out on my time. Let me have dinner. Or sometimes I'll work out and have dinner, and then I'll come out to the bus. I'll usually bring out weed or some beers, and then we'll all party out by the bus for the end of the night.
See, that's very on brand for you. And and people want that experience. I wouldn't be able to, I couldn't deal with keeping people waiting. I also would like to leave.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm on a bus. So we have bus call at like 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
You're still on the bus.
So yes, we have no urgency because we're all getting on a bus.
That is the good thing from the few bus things that I've done. Like that is like just knowing as a comic that you don't have to get on a plane sometimes.
Iliza, you have no idea what that statement means. The idea that you don't have to get on a plane changes my personality entirely.
Yes.
It removes so much stress.
Mm-hmm.
And it increases my longevity exponentially. The fact that I can, if I'm sick, take a NyQuil, get off stage, and go get in a bunk, and then know that I'll sleep until we get to the next. It is a game changer for me. It's why we just bought a new bus, and I'll only be on buses for the rest of my life. And at the point at which it's not cost effective for me to be in a bus and do comedy, I think I'll retire. I think that's when, because I don't think I'll go back. I don't think
quality of life. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And as we get older, spending that money on things that just make life easier and more comfortable. And that's the whole point of making money, is to make life easier. So going back to your point at the beginning about like people hating on like if you fly private or whatever, it's like if you could have a nice car, you would. If you could have a bigger house, you would. And so that the energy of people like trying to pull you down because of that just smacks of the have-nots. And there are plenty of things that I can't afford and don't have, but I choose to spend money on things that make my life easier.
Yeah.
Exponentially.
The only times I ever fly private is if I can make more money by doing it. Like, so for Two Bears, I fly. I have a really hard time because I will go. Tonight we're flying to Savannah, and I was like, affordable private, but at the same time, and by the way, affordable private and kind of makes sense a little bit because I'm doing an arena there, and so I'm only doing arenas right now, and so it always makes sense. I mean, I can financially, it's okay.
Well, also, you're bringing people.
Yeah.
You're bringing like 12 openers. It's like you're not going to buy them. Like, I could understand populating a private plane versus buying a bunch of tickets.
A bunch of first class tickets, yeah.
Oh, you fly them first class?
No, I don't know who I'm flying
your openers first class?
One of them, yeah.
Is there something? Are they sick?
No, they're just. It's Greg Fitzsimmons.
It's a friend. It's a friend.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
So, well, I flew everyone first class all throughout Europe, and so, but for me.
I guess I flew me and my husband first class, but I didn't bring an opener.
For me, I then go, well, it's you know what, it's so much cheaper to fly commercial. By the way, it's actually more enjoyable for me.
Commercial?
Yeah, because it's a bigger plane. There's sometimes sleeper beds, which are better than sleeping on a jet often. Mm-hmm. So I will always seek out commercial. But if I'm doing Two Bears, One Cave, it'll be we're shooting at fucking 9 a.m. on Monday. I've got to fly.
That's the thing. Yeah. Nobody talks about, like, yes, private jets are bad for I'm not endorsing it one way or the other, but I will say when you have a packed schedule, I understand celebrities. Like, if you've got to be somewhere and you have to function and be a parent and be an adult. No, I'm sorry. I don't want to fly through fucking O'Hare and be treated like refuse and maybe not make it, and then you're exhausted and you're treated like a terrorist. So if you have a packed schedule, this is an example of using something sparingly to make your life better. It's the same logic between like being a vegetarian but eating sustainable meat. Like if you have to do it well, but don't do it all the time. Don't be Kylie Jenner and fucking fly from like Burbank to Van Nuys.
Yeah, that was is that what she flew?
No, it was something almost as awful.
Yeah.
You know, or flying yourself private LA to New York by yourself. Like there are gorgeous first class seats and you're not, you know.
First private from New York to LA will never make sense to me, only because it's so much more affordable to fly first class. First class is a $5,000 ticket versus for
$90,000.
Yeah, it's 90. It's like, well, I mean, same with Europe. Europe's $250,000 from LA. And there's no rhyme or reason.
There's no reason.
You could, and by the way, it's not a more comfortable flight. It's a smaller plane going over a fucking massive ocean.
Unless you're like Kim Kardashian and it's like a 747, and I get that.
Did you see her plane?
I did. I don't covet though. I have to be honest, and I think it's because I spend a lot of time online and I look at like conspicuous consumption. I kind of get skeeved out by like bombastic displays of wealth.
Yeah.
Generally because the types of people that do them are incredibly empty or not actually that wealthy, and you're trying to like flex. But the truth is very wealthy people don't actually live that way. Like people who have multi-generation, and I'm not one of these people.
Yeah.
But it's like quiet wealth. If you actually are a wealthy person, you're not wearing a Gucci t-shirt. If you actually have class and
hear that,
taste.
Tom?
Sorry, I don't know.
Tom wears only Gucci.
I think he probably does it like maybe as a joke a little bit.
No.
Okay.
No. Tom is, I'll tell you what happened to Tom is that he got skinny. So he could
fit into things?
He could wear nice clothes for the first time. He's a large shirt now. He's no longer an XL. Once you're a large, the world opens up to you very differently than if you're a double XL. When you're a double XL, Gucci's XL is really a medium.
And I'm an XS, so like think about how big my world is.
Oh, it's really big.
My world is so big. But the more I see online, like there's certain brands, there's certain posturing that's done to look wealthy for other people who aren't wealthy, and that's the mark of it. But like Anna Wintour is never gonna wear like a giant Versace print and a Versace belt and Gucci shoes. Like I like spending money on quiet, well-made things. Like you want to own a Louis Vuitton bag, okay, great, but like head to toe, you look like a clown.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, so then, because this is
you look like a Real Housewife.
This is the thing between me and Leanne. Where does it make sense to spend money? Because I believe it makes sense to spend money on like your mattress. You're like like a vacuum cleaner.
No way. Use mattress all the way. You go use gently pre-owned. Yeah, get a free one outside. A vacuum, you said?
Vacuum. Like I bought us a nice vacuum when we first bought our first vacuum.
That's nice.
And it lasted. We still have that vacuum.
That's what luxury should be, by the way, is things that last. Like people initially bought like Louis Vuitton luggage because it is handmade, but it lasts.
Yeah.
So if you're buying something that's expensive that doesn't last, like that's the whole reason in investing. And that's why because people will roast me for this, but it's the reason a lot of the poor stay poor is because when you are poor, you have to buy the cheaper option because you don't have the money. So you have to keep rebuying.
Yeah.
So you can't just invest in something nice. So I'm coming from a privileged perspective, a privilege that I gave myself by working hard, but investing in things like that.
Yeah.
It is a way, it's an investment.
So what kind of luggage do you have?
I have a Toomey because I'm a stand-up comic. Mm-hmm. And that was my mom made me buy it. I carried I had like some random piece of luggage that I had when I started with Last Comic Standing in 2008, and I had it for like 10 years. And she was like, we're going to get you nice luggage. And by she meant I was buying it for myself. She would just take me. So I have that one Toomey that I've had forever. They're like guaranteed for your life. And then my manager gifted me some Away luggage for, the
Away. I think they were a sponsor, podcast sponsor.
They make a lovely product.
Yeah, we have that. They're great.
So I have that.
The girls both have Away luggage. Georgia and Isla. I
like my hard shell Away if I want a hard one. Then the Toomey is like a little bit softer. I don't check a bag ever.
Never?
Ever. Let me tell you something.
Oh, I love this theory.
I did a month in Europe, 7 months pregnant. We did not check a bag.
What?
Didn't check a bag. I don't believe in it.
So I just told Taylor Tomlinson the exact opposite.
Oh, man.
She is going to Europe, and I said, and roughly on the same size tour I was doing, like scope of cities, and I said, check all your luggage. Check all your luggage.
Taylor.
And put all your stuff. We spent more time in security.
Yeah.
Because we did not check anything. So we had all carry on. I said, everyone's carry on. We're going to fly through there like fucking a hot knife through butter. And we got stopped on average for about 35 minutes at every security spot because we all had liquids,
weed,
a flashlight. Like my bag looked like it was a tactical bag. They stopped us everywhere. Our tour manager, Ben, was like, just check. You guys should just get a bag and all the stuff that you're getting stopped for, put it in that bag.
Put
and
all
check
your
that.
Flashlights,
yeah, well,
all your lithium batteries.
I travel with a flashlight because you never know if there's going to be an earthquake or something.
You do know. You do know there will not be an earthquake in Belgium.
In Belgium?
You know it.
You never know. You never know. We were in Greece.
This is just two different ways.
So what fluids do you have inside your bag?
I don't have fluids. I have the allotted amount for your face creams and whatever that go in the little dorky bag.
No.
Like a pleasure of mine is like I save my containers and I like put perfect, like beautifully looking like face products. I like to feel like a big celebrity when I like do my face routine at night. I spend so much time in airports as it is that anything I can do to shave off time in an airport.
Yeah.
I've never had an issue. I don't want to give them a chance to lose my bag. And anything that I want, like I could ship home.
Yeah.
Like if I buy something or if I get like fan gifts. But like and also I wear my own tour t-shirt. I think you do too. I don't know if you do.
You don't wear a shirt.
Correct. But don't you start the show with a shirt?
I start with the shirt.
You got to build to something.
I always wear a James Purse shirt.
Love James Purse.
I love James Purse.
I wear my own t-shirt on stage to be like, look how cute this is. And by giving myself a uniform, I have to think that much less about what I'm going to wear. So I pack that much less.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
That's why I don't wear a shirt. It's one of the reasons.
Sure. Well, I can't go that route.
I think you'd be shocked how much your sales increase.
It'd be pretty great.
It would be, yeah, you think I play big venues now. Wait till you see your venues.
Wait till you see me shirtless. Wait till you see my OnlyFans arena tour.
No, we made the big mistake of everyone doing carry on. And we were also traveling though with a podcast gear equipment.
That's different.
Yeah.
Like I batch record my podcast.
How many shoes?
I got the one.
No, how many pair of shoes do you travel with?
One pair. Because I do Pilates. I don't do any sort of cardio, so I don't need any shoe with like traction. I work out barefoot.
So what shoe do you wear on stage? Just those?
No. Oh my God, never a white shoe.
Okay.
This actually I never wear white shoes in general. This was just a vibe today. I have a pair of black Nikes that I had custom made.
Yeah.
That I'll wear
Air Force
those.
Ones?
No, they're no, I don't like Air Force Ones. I think they're too long. They're Nike. If you saw them, I would know them. Like it's whatever. I got
like a Pegasus.
No, it's like I did it like Nike ID, and I was like, "What's the cutest shoe?"
Oh, for real?
I did Nike ID, and I get a lot of compliments on the shoe. It's all black with like an army green swoosh, so it's just like a barely green gum soles. So they're like the tan soles.
Yeah.
And I had them made for Unveiled, and so that was my 5th special. So I have a 5 on the tongue. It's like the. I'm not into sneakers. It's the. It's with that right there, cute, that one. No, yeah, Air Max. Sorry, the Air Maxes. Anyway, but that's it. I just bring the one pair.
So then you wear those every day.
I wear those every day because we do a ton of walking.
Yeah. And
I keep them clean. We do those every day. When I used to do a different kind of workout, I bring that workout shoe. But I don't do like heels on stage or like a. Yeah. I also.
So do you? Weird sidebar question. Yeah. Do you find it weird to perform in one outfit and then when you do your special to put on a brand new outfit and have a whole new look?
It's not so much weird as like somebody wrote something like really shitty once. They're like, we get dressed up and we come to your shows and you don't put any effort. I'm like, I created a whole fucking world with my mind, memorized it, and am like ensuring that you're going to laugh. Like I definitely put in more work than you did by straightening your hair, Tanya, but I do a full face of like stage makeup. Yeah. Like the hair, I can't help that I have like postpartum breakage, but like we do the hair, like it's just a t-shirt and jeans because I'm a believer in being an extension of who you are in real life on stage. So I'm never going to like put on like a suit. Yeah. But for the special, it's a presentation. It's just a different thing. Like late night is different. You know, if you're going to do a late night set, which I haven't done in forever,
I was like,
you would dress up for TV.
In all honesty.
You would dress up for TV in a way that you might not if you're going to do a spot locally.
I don't know what I'd wear.
For men, it's also different for guys. Like it's not so about mattering as much as what people judge you so much harsher as a girl. And I'm past that. Like if you're coming to my show, it's not by accident. So we're there. But like I'm not a big, like, let's be cool on stage. I'm a big believer in just like all black, get it done. I like being blonde and wearing all black.
Yeah.
And talking about the devil.
How did you pick your last outfit for your last special?
I have a stylist, Tara Swennen. She does a lot of celebrities like that you've heard of. And
Did she bring you a bunch of outfits?
Yeah, I go to her studio and she has stuff that she pulls knowing like what I like, what I don't like. And she had these pants that I wore for this special. And the second I saw those pants, I'm like, I will build the outfit around these pants.
Oh, for real? What's the name of your last special?
The name of the last special was Hot Forever. And if you want to pull up an image of these pants, because it'd be good for you, you can see them. These pants were very divisive.
They were divisive?
Yeah, people were like...
I thought you looked great.
I did.
Yeah.
People who don't know fashion were like, I don't know. And I'm like, you're wrong. These pants are fucking fire. And that first top one right there, you can see them.
First top one.
That one, where your hand is.
Halston.
So people were like, is that underwear? I'm like, no, they're hip cutouts and these are the future and they're fucking fire. And I got a spray tan and I wore them. And I had a bra sewn into that top right there.
Really?
So you got to sew your bra in. I sew a bra in for every shirt I've worn for a special.
What do you mean? How? Why?
Because like that looks like a bikini top and I need more support.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about bras in this special.
How long after having a baby did you shoot that special?
I shot that special in July. So I had my baby in January, February, March, April, May, June, July.
Iliza. And my daughter's name's Isla.
Yes, I know
that.
I love that name.
Yeah.
I think it's
you should hear her pronounce your name.
The first part, the second part?
The whole part.
Thing? Oh, man.
She's dyslexic. And so so words will trip her up. Like she'll get really tripped up on Shlesinger was all but destroyed when it came out of her mouth.
At least.
And she, by the way, she couldn't see. She was reading them from my phone. So she was like, Iliza.
I mean, at least she has the excuse of being dyslexic versus just being like a bad interviewer or like a bad journalist. At this point, I'm almost 40. I'm like, it's okay if you can't say Shlesinger. It's okay if you're anti-Semitic, but at least let's talk about it off camera so I don't have to endure you making a bit about it. Like, we can say Schwarzenegger, but Schlesinger's a problem.
Yeah.
We can say Skarsgård. We can say all these things.
Well, it's funny. Well, hold on. That's really quick after having a baby to be. Hang on, and I know everyone thinks I'm talking about body stuff, but
we are.
I'm not. I'm talking about to have a baby and then be ready to shoot a special.
Can I tell you? I have not shared this with anyone, but I had trouble retaining information after I had the baby.
Brain, is that what it's called?
Huh?
Was it called?
Some people call it moo mind, which I find really disgusting. But that's, we're talking about moms and how your mom like doesn't remember actors' names or can never remember a song. It is very real. But when you memorize things for a living, I had to stop.
And not simple things. You can memorize a solid 2-minute rant.
Right.
And so, yeah.
I was a little scared because it wasn't sticking. Like, this is material that I had polished and written. Like, this was my material. It wasn't sticking. Like, it was almost like I had everything and it would just kind of be floating out there. And you're like, like my brain was different chemically.
I've been like that in radio if I take a Xanax. where you go, I should be firing.
Like what's happening?
Like, when I come in here, the word is here. That's why I know that I'm good on radio.
I know what the next joke is. Why don't I have this memorized? So I wrote down my set list and I taped it to the back of the curtain and I had to stop down and go check it. Which is not a big deal. And like the audience loves you and it's fine. And even in the months after the baby, like I would have a set list and sometimes it's just there like to reference stuff and you're writing stuff. But like it was never really like that before.
Yeah.
And you start to get nervous because you don't want it to become like a crutch. And I don't love bringing that on stage. But nobody really gives any space or grace for like how scrambled your brain actually is.
Or your body, and I mean body in all sense.
Yeah.
And like,
I'm not going to get offended if we're talking about bodies.
No, I know, but for Leanne, like Leanne's thing when she had Georgia, it's the only one I really remember was she wasn't ready to go out in public for a long time. And Leanne had issues, like a lot of, I don't want to, it's her story to tell, but like, I mean, her tits would start leaking.
Oh, right. Sure. There's I'm not talking about losing weight. I'm going to make sure everyone knows that that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like legit. Your body is out of control.
Yeah. It's not your body anymore. You're sharing it with another person.
I mean, there's that narrative and people talk about like, oh, I feel like I'm just this milk machine or whatever. Like the breastfeeding was fine. Like I thought it was super cool and I did it as long as I chose to do it. And I had my little cooler and like my little kit. And obviously if it's your tour, like you can do whatever you want. I wasn't like beholden. I wasn't like I worked in an office or something, but mentally you're just different and your priorities are different. And there is a softening also that happens. Like I'm not a mean person or anything, but you kind of get nervous. You're like, what am I going to become? And you have to just trust a process and trust like, okay, I got myself here. I understand mind, body, and soul how women just stop pursuing their dreams after they have a kid.
Really?
Because, I mean, look at Jacinda, what's her last name? The Prime Minister of New Zealand. Like she was like, I don't have anything left in the tank. I get it.
Really? Because
you spend so much time thinking about this little baby and you cry and you're like, and not hysterical, and this is the thing that we always talk about like postpartum. I didn't have any postpartum depression, but
I can't imagine you having postpartum depression. I can't imagine you having a therapist, to be honest with you.
That's fair. That's very funny. But everybody needs,
I know, but I can see you being like, no, stop. You need to, we're going to pivot on this conversation. I feel like you're so in control,
right?
That I can't imagine what your therapist.
I always want to know what I don't know. And then like deep down, I'm like, I think I already knew that. I mean, it's good to have people to like bounce stuff off of. And that also requires having people that do exactly what you do that you can open up to without fear of judgment or jealousy. Like, you have a couple people like that in your life. But I get how sometimes you're just like, I got to set this down because when you want to be with this child.
Yeah.
And then you do it. And then 15 years later, like that kid's like, peace out. And you're like, I guess I'm ready to come back. And the world's like, well, we're done with you.
All right, guys, let me take you 2 seconds to talk to you about the company I wish I had started. I swear to God, this could have been me. I was in therapy and I was working at Travel Channel and they said I needed a hobby, okay? Everyone knows this. I got into leatherworking and then I made a fanny pack. And then I started going, man, I should make wallets and sell them at my shows. No need. The wallet I want is right here. These are the coolest wallets I've ever seen, made of full grain leather right here in the US. Open Sea Leather Co. uses folds instead of seams to maximize durability, functionality, and aesthetics with this unique lines and angles. The Hobey 2.0 and the Hobey Mini holds 4 to 10 cards. The larger Hobey 2.0 even fits full-length cash with 18 different colors and thread options. You can create a design that fits your lifestyle. I'm telling you, I'm jealous. It's like I'm watching someone do the dream I had. This is a great guy. His name's Michael Bluth. He was overseas. He was studying Mandarin, working for the Navy. I think he's a vet. And then he just was like, fuck it. I want to make wallets. And I can't even tell you if that is the path I want. And these are gorgeous. Trash your overfed dad wallet, but don't trade it in for one of those rigid pieces of aluminum and elastic bands. The near seamless design of the Hobey series feels amazing both in your hand and in your pocket. The Open Sea Leather is a small shop based out of Honolulu, Hawaii, where they make each and every wallet by hand with over 1,000 five-star reviews. They guarantee you're going to love it or your money back. This is a mom and pop shop, okay? Support small businesses. There's no better feeling than pulling out your wallet and someone going, oh, nice wallet. Here's the deal. Use the code BERT to save 15% at osleather.com. Not only will you love your new wallet, but you'll be supporting American-made goods and a veteran-owned business as well. Again, that's Bert at checkout to save 15%. And as always, it will ship for free in the U.S. This podcast is sponsored by Fitbod. Summer is right around the corner. Listen, I know you probably look at me and think, I'm not trying to get in shape for the summer, but I am using Fitbod to get in shape for the summer months. My New Year's resolutions, shit the bed. So quickly, I went to Europe and then I just fell apart. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I've seen little progress doing it on my own. But using Fitbod keeps me motivated and working towards my goals. If you want to lose weight, Fitbod's the way to go about it. You just pick a fitness goal, select your equipment, and Fitbod will create a custom workout program for you. Whether you've been missing the gym all the time or hitting it a plateau, Fitbod will build your workout plan individualized for you. The app switches up your exercises to avoid overtraining or burnout while keeping your workouts fresh and fun. I'm telling you, man, I'm on the road all the time. I'm never home. This is the best way to step up your fitness game. There is no better time to level up your fitness habit than right now. Try Fitbod today. Get 25% off your subscription or try the app for free at fitbod.me/Bert. That's fitbod.me/Bert. Yeah, that's Leanne. It wasn't 15 for Leanne, but it was,
or even 10. Even just like
how long has Leanne's podcast been going, Halston? 5 years. So, guess it was almost like it was 13 years for Leanne, and she just went. And Georgia they were both in middle school, and she was like, "So I have no purpose. I have no purpose.
Right.
The world doesn't need me. I have no purpose." And I was like. Well, what do you want to do? And she's like, I don't know. I have been pursuing other people's dreams. I've been helping everyone pursue their own dreams. And now I don't know what I want to do.
I have just somebody asked me the other day if I was going to stop doing stand-up. And I was like, wouldn't give them the satisfaction. Wouldn't stop. This is my heartbeat. I mean, obviously my daughter is, but there's acting, there's writing, but stand-up, I love the craft of it so much.
Yeah.
I also, in a weird way, know how jealous people can get. And I'm like, I'm never going to stop just to make it, just to upset you. You can take a break from things, and you can become creative in other ways. But I get how it becomes too much.
Oh, yeah.
And how heartbreak. I mean, thank God I went to Iceland, because when I went to Australia and New Zealand, I was prepared for how much I was going to miss her. I just look at pictures of her on my phone. And what's even more fucked up is I will be in the same room with her and I'll go in the other room to look at pictures because it's a lot to deal with the kids sometimes. But yeah, it's mentally you're a different person.
That's really funny.
Do you ever do that? Did your wife ever do that?
No, I had a really hard time. I had a really hard time being present as a father when I was younger, because I would and by the way, Leanne says I need to preface all this with I overemphasize things that I feel are maybe very small. I will say this, I was a great father. I was. But I know for a fact that I would have a hard time being present in reading a book. So I was like, I should be writing. I should be creating something.
Yeah.
I can't be sitting here reading a fucking Baby Beluga to you, because I'm not making sure that you get to go to college now.
I feel that. I think that's real too. I think it's not just about, just becoming a parent. We have all and that's a provider mentality. And that's what a dad does, Well,
dad and a mom. And Leanne.
And a mom, but
Leanne worked more than I did. She worked 40 hours a week.
I guess I'm just not faulting you for feeling I feel a lot of men probably feel that way.
I felt that way hard.
And of course you don't want to be a fucking loser that can't provide for their kids, Yeah. And I think about that too. So, but I will say this, what I don't subscribe to is guilt. I'm sad because she's not with me, but I never feel bad because I'm like, do you want to go to college? Do we want this house? I don't believe in guilt. I don't believe in guilty pleasures.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do. And this idea that you work so hard for this career, I'm not setting this down.
No. That's fucking foolish.
If you can't, and not everybody, all I'm saying is I get how women are I really do need to stay at home. Even coming today, I was like, am I a little hungover from last night? Yes. But even coming today, I was like, Bert would be cool if I canceled. He's cool, dude.
Yeah.
But it's when you're home and you're so cozy with them and you're singing Old MacDonald for the 400th time, they're just I don't want to get in the car. I could see how you want to.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, my thing was leaving, especially when they were babies.
Yeah.
Leaving was so fucking hard.
The physical, I will say this, the anticipation of leaving and the moment you leave, but the second you're out the door, it's not as hard, and then it creeps in later. It's like jumping out of a plane.
Well, so we used to do this thing where...
with a parachute.
Yeah. We used to do this thing where the girls would come out. We're big, loud. We've always been a loud family. So the girls would come outside, and they would say goodbye to me, and I would get in the car, and I'd tell the guy, drive, no matter what, just drive. And I'd roll the window down, and I go, I love you. And then they go, I love you. And he'd keep driving. I go, I love you. And he'd go, I love you. And then I go, I love you. And they go, I love you. We would be on the corner and they'd be standing at that house going, screaming. I love you.
Your neighbors are like, it is 4 a.m.
Yeah. And and I remember at times being in the back of a car, putting on sunglasses, crying, going like, I don't want to fucking leave. I want to fucking hang out. I want to do everything they're doing. It seems so fun. By the way, I wasn't making a ton of money at the time. So it wasn't like I was like, oh, I got to make hay while the sun shines. I was like, no, it's fucking $3,000 and it's Columbus. Fucking.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's weird. Even it's like all these things can matter. And in different moments they can matter, more. Like I induced because I needed to honor the ticket sales for all of these shows and and I don't care what people think about that.
So we induced because I was opening for Dave Attell.
Oh, wow.
Is that not fucking crazy?
Yeah, that's actually crazier.
I had Dave Attell, Louis C.K. and Daniel Tosh.
Wow.
Back to back to back. And I was opening for him.
Your wife was like, sure.
And I needed the money. I needed the money because it was $700 a weekend. I was featuring. And my dad had given me Sky Miles to pay for the flights.
Wow.
So I was going to get $2,100, which was going to help.
Yeah.
And so we induced June 6th.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's even more of a commitment because that's her doing it for 7th. You.
What day was Georgia born?
You better get that right. Remember when we couldn't remember how old you were?
Yes.
I still don't know how old you are.
I'm 50 now.
Okay.
I'm 50. And it's funny when you watch the Molly Shannon thing, you're like, 50 is like,
50, yeah.
I'm 50 and I can stretch, kick ass.
You're like, I can ice plunge and I can have someone monitor my food.
I benched 225 5 times, Molly. Like, how funny was 50 at that time? I can't imagine being a 50-year-old then and being like, I'm not that fucking old.
Yeah, it's especially for women, it's just this constant. I don't really know what a 50-year-old, I don't know what a 40-year-old looks like because in LA, like there's this like nebulous age between like 20 and 50 that everyone just kind of is. And I don't know what we're supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Like, do I wear too many baseball hats and shirts with skulls on them for a 40-year-old? Like, I don't know. I think in LA, it's like just a different.
Oh.
We look younger on the outside, but on the inside, we're rotting.
Oh. All I hang out is with 50-year-old women when I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't, my friends are all over the place. I feel like.
You still have friends in Dallas?
In Dallas?
Or Texas? Where did you grow up in Texas?
I'm from Texas.
Yeah.
I think I have like some high school friends that still live there, but we don't like.
No, you don't.
My best friend lives in Austin, and I grew up with her. But that's the other thing. Like, you do a podcast with Tom, and he's one of your best friends. But like, who has time if you're successful for like a ton of friend hangs?
That's crazy you say that because
you're like, because I do.
No. Well, I just spent. I incorporated into my touring. So like there's dudes I really I just get a real kick out of.
Yeah.
And Shane Gillis and Mark Norman, we did the 4 shows in Tempe. And so they I like those guys. Everyone that's on my tour bus is like a legit friend.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, wouldn't.
But when you talk about friends,
yeah.
I had a really hard time making friends. I had a relationship go south with a comic that I was working with, and I said, I don't need friends. I don't need friends. I said exactly what you said. Who's got the time for it? I'm fucking busting my ass on Travel Channel. Yeah. I'm trying to tour. I got 2 kids. I got a wife. That's my
That's
group.
My world. Yeah.
And Rogan was the one that pulled me aside. He was like, hey man, we're trying to be your friend. Like, you just need to let us be your friend.
Were you mean?
No, I just was distant. He would be like, he'd call me and be like, hey, we're at the Ice House tonight. Come hang out. And I'd be like, I'm good. And he'd be like, what? I'd be like, I'm good. I'm going to stay home. And he'd be like, huh? He was like, come to a spot. And I was like, okay. And I'd do a spot and I'd leave. And he'd be like, hey, what, like, why don't you come and do the podcast and hang out with the podcast? And And I just was distant. I didn't trust anyone. And Joe came over with a shot of Jack Daniels for each of us and each of Heineken. And he was like, hey man, it's okay you can have friends. Like,
right.
We're trying to be your friend right now and you're not letting us.
Right.
And I was like, okay. And he was like, so when we call and say, hey, do you want to do something? I wouldn't answer my phone. That was another one. I just never answered my phone. So if I saw a call, I just sent it to voicemail. I never answered my phone. And this is back before texting was as big as it is.
Yeah.
And then I started realizing it's super vulnerable. I tried to write a joke about it. It's easier to put your dick in someone that you don't know than to say, hey, would you like to be my friend?
Sure.
It's so much more intimate to try to make a friendship.
Because when you put your dick in someone, even if they say no, you can still get what you want. I'm just kidding. But I feel like I'm talking about adult, because every adult thinks this. It is hard to make friends, but I guess I think like the more I do and the more things that I create and the more I go on, it's not about not wanting those friends. Like I'm very open to making those new friends, but like I don't have the bandwidth for friendship in the way that I did when I was younger, because you have a spouse now, you have a full career, you have a kid. And so sometimes I'll get texts from friends and like, these are really nice people, but you're like, I don't have the bandwidth to just keep writing back like hearts and emojis. Yeah. And I'm a big, like, if you want to hang out with me, you got to come to these sets and then we can go eat after.
Yeah. I remember that's how you dated. You'd be like, yeah, I'll go on a date with you, but I'm going to do a spot at the store.
But by the way,
I think, was it your husband who you brought to the store and was like, I was sitting in the back with, and he was like, this marijuana, is this just out? Is this just out? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, take some. And he's like, okay. I go, Eliza's got a bag of it. It's for you. And he was like, for real? Like, I remember just him sitting in there. You were doing a spot. He's just sitting in the green room.
Loved it. When we first started dating, and he might come tonight. Like, I think I might be the only person whose like spouse still will come to a show. Yeah. And he doesn't, I mean, he's seen this stuff, but like he gets to see like Mark Maron. Like he gets to see the comics that he actually likes. Yeah. And he's friends with them now. And
he likes Mark Maron, huh?
He does enjoy Mark Maron.
Yes.
Mark's an elegant man.
I didn't see that coming. Mark's got a new special on HBO that's fucking awesome.
There we go. Yeah. But I think it's very cool. And he, like, the comics know him and it's a fun hang. But even my friends that come, I'm like, yo, this is a dope deal. You get free drinks. You get to watch some great comedy.
Greatest comics in the world.
We get to walk in and like, we don't have to wait in line. Yeah. And it's just, it's a fun hang. And then we do stuff. Or if I'm going to do something, we have to like plan it way out in advance. But it's not.
But you also, you know what you have coming to you that you don't know about yet.
All the friends I'm going to make for my kid.
It's going to be so much fun. You're going to have so much fucking fun. Because what you don't realize is like, I remember when my sister got pregnant, someone else.
Sorry, sorry, you made the mistake of walking into a room. She doesn't like that. She doesn't like that you stood up.
Manzi, just do you need something?
Sorry,
That's okay. Come here.
Come here. You're okay. People are allowed to exist around you. This is my life with this dog. And there are some people she just can't get used to. I have not been able to sleep past 7 a.m. because she always lets me know that the nanny and the baby are awake. And I'm like, I know.
I had a meltdown with my dogs today. I was trying to meditate. It's on my Instagram. I hate when I show like real emotion on my Instagram. But I was trying to meditate and I was I was overwhelmed by my day. And I was like, I'm going to do the Calm app and sit in my backyard and meditate. And fucking our old dog, Mona, just sat in the backyard barking because she couldn't get up the stairs. And then Priscilla, Mac and Izzy, who are both 150 pounds.
I'm sorry. Seeing that awful?
No, it's fine. Started wrestling onto me. They just 300 pounds.
You're like trying to meditate.
Yeah, and I'm trying to meditate. And I go, who the fuck can meditate? Like, who has time? I really was like, who the fuck has time to literally sit and go, I'm going to take 15 minutes for myself. I was like, I don't get it. Hold on. What was I saying right before
You're talking about kids and parents and how fun that is.
You'll know, it's fun. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Making a friend group as parents, because we had a friend group. We still do. We're still very close with them. It's called the Campers. And it was all moms that were doing what's it called? Girl Scout stuff. And they introduced all the dads, and all the dads clicked. And it was right when marijuana started becoming easier to get.
So there you go.
We all went on a camping trip with our kids, and the kids had a blast, and we all ate edibles and drank and partied and had a fucking epic time. And we all of a sudden we bonded and we all started getting a kick out of each other. And it was the funnest time of having a child.
That's what all the parents that on my block, we live in like a very family-oriented neighborhood. They all say that.
It's so funny. I picture you living in a just off Melrose in a white 2-story modern house.
I have that vibe, and I did live in a house.
I think it might have been from your Instagram.
I lived in a house like that in Laurel Canyon. It was like a total cocaine house. I saw it, and I was like, I have to live in this house. I have to live in this house.
Yeah,
and it was 3 stories, all glass. Like it had a wine room, but it was just for show because it was all glass. I'm like, your wine's gonna get very hot.
Yeah,
it was bullshit. And we sold it to some like Chinese Bitcoin guy. But it was like when we decided we were gonna have a family, I was like, we can't have a family in this house. This is ridiculous. But I had to live in it because it had a fucking sick view of the city. We had dope parties. One time I did mushrooms and came home. I did them with Jody Miller, and I thought they had worn off. And we're in the car and I drive home and I'm like, wow, Nicki Minaj's Super Bass is such a good song. I had my leg out the window. I'm like, I'm feeling so good. Didn't realize I was still high. Got home, turned on Vanilla Fudge. You know that Keep Me Hanging On song?
No.
Yeah. Spend my life, why don't you, baby?
Oh, yeah.
The original. I turned it up on our TV and I just sat there like the RC. You know that guy? What is it? RCA, the guy?
Yeah.
And I sat there listening to it with our windows open to the canyon. And I had it on repeat for like 15 minutes, just by myself.
Yeah.
And I went over to my neighbor's house the next day and she was just like, I saw all these messages on the board about somebody blasting Vanilla Fudge. And it was just resonating through the canyon. It was like shaking our windows. Do you know? I was like, I don't know who would do that.
Yeah.
Who would be so irresponsible? Anyways, that's what that house was for.
You're such an interesting person. I like having seen my daughters grow up and knowing their friends. I wish I had gotten to see what kind of like teenager you were.
I was very cool. No,
were you?
I don't know. I think
were you a mean girl?
No. I went to a very small private school, so it's not the same like tropes as like like the football players and the whatever. Like you could kind of do whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I was always funny. I was always aware of it's such a mind fuck being in comedy because it's the only job where like being attractive is seen as like a total negative.
It was a big negative for you.
And
I remember when you first hit the scene. I remember the pushback of fucking hot chick.
Right.
Yeah. And then watching you do stand up for the first time at the Addison Improv with me, and I was like, oh shit, she's fucking really good.
Thank you.
And you were really young at the time.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you for the young comment.
No, young and
no,
comedy.
I'm kidding. No. Like we were once young. Thank you so much. But people will hear this and they'll get very upset about it and whatever. But here's the truth. If you don't grow up as like the hot girl, I always had a high self-esteem because I was funny. So you always know
that's so
who the idiot,
Yeah.
And so I wasn't like this ugly fucking loser, but like, especially somewhere like Dallas, Texas, like there are the hot girls and then there are the ugly dorks and then there's you. And so like I had a boyfriend in high school, but like there was always the boy you couldn't have. And I'm sure every girl feels this way, but like there were girls who like every guy thought that girl was hot and that was never me. And so I just lived my life, went to college, whatever. But like circumstantially hot is a thing. So like hot for a comic. By the way, now almost every girl that does comedy is very pretty. Like it's just because normal people just do it. You don't have to be a fucking freak. And even when I started, I actually sent Trish.
That's accurate. It's very accurate.
Yeah, there
are so many pretty women in comedy.
And and because it's just this ubiquitous thing. So many people do it now. There's so much more access to it.
Yeah.
I sent a DM to Trish Sir. Do you know her? Mm-hmm. She's she's been around forever, and she's like from the South, and she's older than me.
You can pull her up, Alston, as you do that. Keep going.
I sent her a DM recently because I saw that she followed me, and so I sent it on Valentine's Day. I was like, I've never talked to you, but I want you to know that when I was like 22 or 23, 24, none of these images are good. Oh, Sir. S-U-H-R. Yeah, you got it.
You know her?
She's like a TV personality. Like she's, I saw her on stage at the Improv with a comic named Rebecca Corey.
I know Rebecca Corey very well.
And I don't know these women that well, but I remember this is before the world made it very clear to me that like, I'd never heard that women weren't funny. My parents never said
Rebecca
it. No one
Corey
around me.
Very funny.
And I saw her do a joke, and I remember Rebecca Corey's joke, and I saw Trisha, they were on the show. And I don't know if I was on the show or I was just there, but I was very young. And I remember seeing like these attractive women, and I didn't think about it in terms of gender. I never have. And I didn't think about it like, oh, hot, not hot. But I remember, I wrote this to Trish. I was like, I remember seeing you, and you were blonde, and you were from the South, and you were funny, just like me, even though she's from Kentucky, so it's a different South, and I'm Jewish. But I remember thinking like, I always kept you in the back of my mind because all the times they'd say, like, you can't exist. I'd be like, but Trish Sir exists, so therefore I can.
Yeah.
And what the fuck was the point of that? The point is...
there's so many more hot chicks in comedy.
No, but there was another point about the attractive thing. Oh, yeah. Mean Girl. You asked me about it. So I've always been aware. I think there's a power in knowing, like, it's okay as a girl to be like, I'm not the hottest girl. And people are like, no, you're beautiful. I'm like, I didn't say that. I just said I'm not like Megan Fox hot. Like, it's okay to know your limits. Yeah. It's okay to know you're like a strong 8.
Yeah, no. What's interesting about that is I was talking to Anna Faris.
Okay.
Just edit her name out.
Okay.
And she was saying the problem with my husband is that he was a fat kid growing up.
Yeah.
And so he'll always be a fat kid.
Yes.
For the rest, he'll always be the fat kid. And it's so funny. I was never the fat kid. I was always cool. I was always in good shape. I was always extremely athletic. So even as I've gained weight,
She went to FSU, right?
Who, me?
Did I make that up?
I don't know. FSU? Google it. Oh, I'd love it if she did.
No, you.
Oh, I'd love it if I did too. I did. Yeah.
Wait, I thought you went.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so I
was like,
wait, how did she go to FSU and I didn't meet her?
I don't know. Bang her.
So, I never, even as a fat person now, I don't see myself as fat. I see myself as I actually see myself as fairly muscular, which is insane because whatever he got that fucked him up, I got the opposite of it. So I get this insane confidence that isn't real.
I have that. I have a man's confidence.
You have a man's confidence.
And women
which can really suck on the internet.
It can, but honestly, I just kind of don't look. And I've had enough of that garbage over the years where I'm just like, this is all like chit chat. And at the end of the day, I show. Like, I don't just talk about stuff. Everybody who wants to like flex and say bullshit on the internet, I'm like, or make a meme or rip off your joke. I'm like, at the end of the day, I stand up in front of thousands of people and I say what I mean. You hide behind a fucking avatar.
Yeah.
So like, that's it. But what was the whole point?
I'm just curious of like what you were like because I know girls. Yeah. Like Georgia has friends where I go, I hope that doesn't get shaken out of her.
Yeah.
She's got one friend, Daisy, who there's a group of friends, but one friend, Daisy, makes me giggle, makes all of us giggle hard as fuck. She is just
funny.
She is so funny. She is so funny. She said one time, this is one of the hardest I've ever laughed around Georgia and her friends. We were talking about breakups, and I said, I had a bad breakup. I tell this girl's my bad breakup. And she goes, I had a bad breakup. I said, really? And she goes, yeah. He was my COVID boyfriend, and I went over and I went to break up with him. And as I broke up with him, he looked at me and he went, for real, Daisy? On my dog's birthday? And I could not stop laughing at it. And I went, oh, I wanted to be like, can I transport you into your 30s?
Yeah.
I don't want the world I don't want college to fuck you up. I don't want people to say, oh, this isn't the girl that's valuable because she's goofy. She's just goofy.
I think we are very good in our society of like beating things out of women, like in terms of literally, but also aspirationally or having like zest or like an attitude or whatever. But there's enough. We have such a contempt for it, and that contempt remains because those women choose to stay that way. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't think that if there weren't women out there that had told me that. Because I always had comedy, part of comedy is thinking like you know better than most people. Like, you have to be intelligent to be funny on some level.
You have to be, I wouldn't say smarter than the room, but you got to know that. I know.
You gotta know what they're going to say.
I have said this to audiences. I know you better than you know yourself when it comes to comedy.
Yeah.
I know what you're going to like. I actually know what you're not going to like. And right now when I go, I'm not going to say it. Trust me that I know that what I think is funny. It's different than you.
Yes.
It's like a cheese connoisseur.
Yeah. Like you're just like, but not even, because that's learned and this is in your bones.
Yeah.
Like you learn this, but like it is, I always try to tell people like it is extremely metaphysical. Like when you're up there, it's not about just telling the joke. Like there is an energy that you have in the palm of your hand and you are like conducting that. And I am deciding when to bring it up and when to bring it down. And it is poetic and musical. And there's like a math to it that you either get or you don't. And you can polish it. But like we've seen plenty of comics that have done it for years. I'm like, you either get it or you don't in your bones. That's the difference between someone like us versus like your funniest friend. You know?
And then there's your funniest friends. Like I have a buddy who's the funniest dude in the world. And he's like, if you could get me on stage and get me started, I could really murder.
But that's the thing.
Yeah, you're like, that's the catch, buddy. You got to start it yourself.
You're like, you want me to do the work for you? You want me to open for you?
Yeah. You want me to just get them going and then be like, and then he just steps in and says a couple words.
Funny
and then I slowly disappear off stage. I go, yeah, we all could do that.
That's the difference between the talent and the craft.
Yeah.
You know, like anyone can tell a joke. But to answer your question, I was never mean, ever. I also, the more I do interviews like this and the more I talk to other comics, the more I realize a lot of people have a lot of perceptions about who I am. Not necessarily bad, but like I represent a different version of me. Just the feedback I get versus what I actually am is always a very different thing.
What do you mean?
Like people, like somebody the other day, like I have an assistant and I said something, I was like, by the way, like I was like, you know, let's talk this out. I definitely want you to have a nice working environment. Like I would never like fire you for fun. She was like, oh, I feel like you would. And I was like, I think when women are strong or like blunt or whatever, with that comes all the other assumptions about archetypes of women like that.
Yeah.
Even if you've given them it's kind of like racial profiling. Like even if I've given you no indication that I am that, you sort of bear the weight of other types of women. You know, like, well, she must be this and this because all these other women are kind of like that.
But also you put out little flares of who you are and people read that. Like my problem is, sincerely, and I've said it's been an actual issue, is everyone kind of rolls their eyes at me on my team. But like everyone's just like, oh, okay, all right, we get it. You know, like because Leanne does that, and so that comes out. And so what it mounted to was people finishing my sentences for me.
I'm sorry. That's so rude. I'm sorry.
No, it's what? Wait, what? Did people finish my sentences?
Why did
I don't care.
I thought no, it's not right.
I don't care. Who was it? Is it your daughter?
It's my mom.
It's your mom. But like people were finishing my sentences a lot.
Yeah.
And Leanne was doing it. Everyone was doing it. And at a certain point, I said, everyone needs to fucking stop.
Like I'm not an idiot.
I'm the one that created this this business.
He's allowed to laugh. Tianfu, stop.
I can't imagine guys not falling in love with you immediately.
I think there's two kinds of men.
Okay.
There are the ones that fall in love immediately, and then there are the guys that are wrong. You know, so I think some men are hardwired. Like you either find someone I'm not like a ball buster. Like I'm funny and I don't.
You're quicker. You remind me of my little sister, Cotty.
Yeah. I get that a lot.
You've got little sister energy. And my sister is just fucking fast.
Right. I am. And it is tricky. I have married someone who is not as fast, but definitely smarter than me.
Yeah.
So like he says stuff sometimes. He's so fucking funny, but like is not known for that. I was like, Noah, I feel like secretly, like I'm a really good singer. And Noah just doesn't blink, goes, the secret dies with you. Like little things that aren't humbling, but like keep you in check. The fast thing is tricky. It's funny that you say the thing about finishing sentences because Hunter Hill, who is very funny and opens for me and is also a dad. Our kids are about a month apart.
Oh, really?
So we kind of went through it at the same time. What I love doing is when we are together in a city and someone will be like, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Hill, are you checking? I'm like, we're not together. Like I love telling people.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I was with my social media manager, Victoria, and we were sitting there. He's a good-looking guy.
He's a good-looking guy. He's a big dude. He is a plus-size model. He's a dad. And
he is a plus-size model.
He is. He actually, like, that picture actually is from a real photo shoot. Like, it's but he's, and he's very funny and sensitive. What the fuck was the point? Oh, yeah. He finishes my sentences. And there is that thing where we are together. So, like, in my life, there are three men. And if you see me with one of these three men, it's either my publicist, Greg, my husband, Noah, or my opener, Hunter. And some people probably think Hunter's my husband or something. And we are together so often that he kind of can read my mind. But we were in the airport the other day and I wasn't paying attention and I followed him toward the gate and he got it wrong. And I deducted so many points from his page. I was just like, you are tall. People will automatically follow you and you cannot take that lightly.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm sorry. And then he got it wrong when he finished my sentence and I bark at him.
Oh my God.
When he gets it wrong because I'm impersonating him because he's like a sheepdog. Like, it's like his job is to like take care of his wife and his baby. And I'm like, I don't need herding. Like, do not like encircle me. Do not finish the sentence.
Yeah. They're fucking back. I thought we lost them forever. You want to talk about a cool ass fucking brand? A cool ass fucking brand? Mad Rabbit. Mad Rabbit makes a tattoo balm. Now I say tattoo weird. I know it's up for debate whether or not I do it by choice or by habit or by both. And this company, I thought we lost them forever. You want to talk about a company that gets it? They just hit us up and they're like, all right, we're back. We want to work with you, but you got to mention that you're saying this word fucked up. I am saying this word fucked up. Mad Rabbit is badass. And I'm telling you right now, I love this product because Leanne's got dry ass fucking feet. And Leanne's got a tattoo right here on her ankle. And it's a sunrise. And I rub this on it and it makes it look brand new. Mad Rabbit is committed to reinventing tattoo aftercare. Founded by two friends with a passion for ink, Mad Rabbit creates simple, effective, and natural products that help improve the healing process and preserve tattoos. Their hero product, the tattoo balm, I think I said it right there, revitalizes, replenishes, and proactively preserves tattoo ink. It's effective on both new and old tattoos and all skin types. And when Mad Rabbit says natural ingredients, they mean natural ingredients. The balm has 8 ingredients: shea butter, cocoa butter, beeswax, calendula, a sweet almond, lavender, frankincense, and cucumber. That's it. So forget the days of ingredients that you don't know how to read or can't pronounce. With Mad Rabbit, you know that what you're putting on your body is truly all natural. Plus, they've got all the products you need for your tattoos, from a tattoo sunscreen, a soothing gel, and more. And in April 2021, just 2 years into Mad Rabbit's existence, they became a carbon neutral company because they believe in leaving the world a better place than they started it. So when you think tattoo care, think Mad Rabbit. They've preserved over 1.5 million tattoos, and right now, they've got an exclusive offer just for Bertcast listeners. If you go to madrabbit.com/Bertcast and use the promo code Bertcast, you'll receive 25% off. That's 25% off when you head to madrabbit.com/Bertcast and use our promo code Bertcast. I get a lot of people thinking, but I think it's the same thing where people look at you and they go, oh, she just fired you just for fun. I think people think for whatever reason, okay, it's Bert. It's fine. We're going to be fine.
He's toothless.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He's an idiot. And so that happens for me a lot where I get really frustrated and I feel like I go, are you surmising this from the way I'm talking on stage, or what am I putting out?
You are shirtless.
Yeah.
So there's that.
You said a compliment about me one time. I think you did. And you said, he's not here on accident.
Right.
Someone said something about me. I think you were talking to Rogan about me, and you said, he's not here on accident. You don't get here on accident. Right. You have to work for it, and you have to be pretty smart to get to where you are.
Yeah, this isn't like, I fell up, my friends were famous, so I got famous, and it's like...
hold on. It's pretty close to what happened.
But it's not about how you got there. It's what you did with it.
Yeah.
You monetized it, and it doesn't, like, Jimmy Carr, like, going back to that, like, we don't have to do the same kind of art for me to, like, fully respect and appreciate the work that goes into that.
Yeah.
Any movie star, any singer, anybody that you don't like, if you're hearing about them, like, even if you think they suck, like an influencer, YouTuber, like, if you have a following, like, you still put in the work.
Yeah.
And it may not be work that you respect or that you like. That's not the case with you. I'm just saying, I know, because I do what you do, because we both do stand up, like, the amount that you have to be on top of, like, you fly those 8 people, but, like, they're not making your tour videos and you're like, yeah, just post whatever. Like, you are overseeing that. Yeah. And it's fucking exhausting. Like, when someone sends me a Dropbox link, like, I want to vomit. Like, it's so much.
It is the most annoying thing in the world when you get a Dropbox link. You're like, just send me the fucking video.
Because it's not user friendly, by the way, Dropbox, if you're a sponsor, which you probably are.
They're not.
I hope never.
No, I would never. There's don't even get me started on Slack.
Oh, that's like for offices. I've never had to do
we have Slack in this office, and the other day I almost threw my phone across the fucking street. I was riding my bike down here, my electric bike, and it died, and the chain fell off. And I said, "Hey guys, I need to get picked up on the corner of ... and ... I am my bike died," and I thought the response came back on Slack, and I was like, "If you just fucking slacked me on this fucking urgency, we have a podcast coming here in 10 minutes."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Motherfucker, if I got Slack," but it wasn't a Slack. They called and they were like, "Oh, we'll be there in 2 seconds."
Wait, why can't you pedal an electric bike?
This one, the chain fell off.
But the chain fell off.
Yeah, the chain fell off. I heard it go ching ching, and I went, "Motherfucker." And then it just zoom, died.
Like Mitch Hedberg's joke about how like an escalator was like temporarily out of service, like temporarily stairs.
Yeah.
Okay, but your chain fell off. We could edit out all of that.
No. Keep it in. It's the beauty of you.
But it is the beauty of. But I think a lot about as an artist, So you don't talk about politics, because there is that thing where like you put out there. Once you've put something out there, political opinion, any sort of art, it's no longer yours. And the perception of you, no one will ever perceive you the way you perceive yourself. And it becomes obfuscated. And then they return it to you like energy wise. Like, so they see you do a show and you take off your shirt. Then he's like, "Oh, Bert's party guy. He's an idiot." And then they think of you as that. And you're like, but like, they don't realize the method behind it.
Yeah.
And I think with women in particular, I'm always checking myself. If I think something negative about someone based off nothing they've done, I'm like, am I informing that? Am I filling in the holes of that archetype based on other things? Is it from my own insecurity?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's always from my I've worked really hard. My insecurity is always self-reflective.
100%.
It comes back to how I feel about myself. I've been very lucky, and I don't know how I dodged this, because I am competitive. I'm very competitive with sports, with anything like that. I'm very competitive, like to the point where I have to check myself with sports and anything like
that you're playing or that you're watching.
That I'm playing. I don't give a fuck about watching anything.
What are you playing?
Like if Tennis with Tom or Sober October was a big one, because we'd all do these, and I would get so competitive that I didn't enjoy it. For whatever reason, I never caught that in stand-up. I always feel like everyone's older than me. Mm-hmm. Even though they're not. I feel like they're just more senior at everything than me. So I always look up to everyone. Someone said to me the other day, "You talk so glowingly about everyone else around you. It's like you don't respect yourself." And I went, no.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That was something to the effect of that. And I said, "No, I hang out with people better than me.
Always.
Everyone's better than me. Everyone I have, you defer in so much that all your friends are these great comics and you're nothing. Is that how you feel about yourself?" I went, "No, actually, they are. They're the greatest comics in the world, and I am lucky to be around them. And I only hang out with fucking gangsters. I only hang out with the best comics."
But they wouldn't be hanging out with you if they didn't respect you.
Yeah, and I was like, what fucking comic just hangs out with a bunch of fucking suck ups? Oh, I could name a few.
I could name plenty.
You
have any snacks?
There's yeah.
Oh, you can take as many pictures of her as you want, and you can hold her. She's a sweet baby. Notice how she puts the wall behind her, so no one can sneak up on her.
This is the hardest question you'll ever get asked on a podcast. How?
I'm sorry.
It's a perfect time.
You literally can't look at her.
How does your current dog compare?
Yeah. To Blanche?
Yeah.
Did you not remember Blanche's name?
No, I knew Blanche's name.
I love that you.
I was one of the. I actually waited after Blanche passed. We have chips. We have Cliff Bars. We have Girl Scout cookies. We have Uncrustables.
No, that's all garbage. I'm okay. Thank you though.
What are you looking for?
I don't know. Bars. This is a man trying to feed a woman. I'm like, I don't know. Guess something fun.
We have a side salad.
I don't know where that's from.
Because we had to put down Priscilla. Priscilla was our bull mastiff.
Yeah.
And we got a new one, Mac. And it's so amazing that it's so hard for the new dog to ever be as good as the old dog.
I love that you asked that, because I actually thought you were going to ask, like, how is the dog getting along with the baby? And I'm like, I never even thought about it. They're fine.
I don't know how they'd even interact unless the dog got up on the table.
When the baby walks, And so
at 13, oh yeah, 13, yeah.
She's been walking. Georgia
broke her arm at 13.
My daughter had a fracture in her leg. I don't know how.
And then we went into the doctor and I said, I feel like a horrible dad. And he goes, my kid just fractured his skull.
Yeah.
And I went, really? And he goes, standing in the shopping cart. And I go, standing in the shopping cart?
Exactly. He's like, and I'm a pediatrician.
I know.
Yeah. They walk in the room and my husband will be like, it's the world's tiniest parade. Like they just follow each other around. I don't compare her and Blanche because it's not like Blanche was like a person. Like everybody knew Blanche. Like she also was part of my life through being single, through traveling, through starting my career. Like she served that purpose. And I always look at when an animal dies, the way I look at it is if you look at your life in retrospect, that dog, that cat, but that dog was there to get you through something.
Yeah.
So Blanche got me through that. It's not like it was bad. Like it was just growing up.
Yeah.
Tianfu was my baby before my baby. Like I got to baby her when we were trying to get pregnant, when I was pregnant. Like I got to, it's not, they're not the same, but she was so broken when we got her. She needed, and she doesn't, like she threw up in the car on the way here. Like I have a towel filled with vomit sitting in the front seat of my car with the window open in your driveway. She's not a road dog, which I learned very quickly.
Oh, she's not?
No. I brought her today because I was like, maybe you need some special one-on-one time. And she immediately threw up in the car. She sleeps in the closet when I'm not there. She needs more coddling, but that I was happy to give that to her because she got us through the pandemic. She got to be our baby. Mm-hmm. So they're just very different. I kind of think of it like, I think of myself as a man. I think of myself as an older man. And Blanche was the girl that I met in college. So I'll say to my kids, like, your mother and I met in college. We got our PhDs together and she died. And this is my younger Asian wife. And while she'll never be your mother, she makes me happy.
Yes, that's perfect.
That's because Tianfu's Chinese. Yeah, she's hiding under something right now. It's just a different vibe. It's
funny that when we had Priscilla, Izzy, Priscilla was getting old. We got Izzy, Bull Mastiff.
Yeah.
They were all Bull Mastiffs. And Izzy was annoying as fucking shit when Priscilla was alive. And then when Priscilla died, we got Mac, who's a bigger version of Priscilla, first male dog I've ever owned. We got Mac, and Izzy became the sweetest animal in the world.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting that compared against the two dogs, these two awesome dogs, this one dog had completely different personalities when accompanied by another dog.
I mean, people are the same way. Like, I've been on sets where, like, I am having the best time, we're riffing, and then you're on a set where you're not feeling like yourself and you don't feel funny.
Yeah.
And you're kind of quiet. Like, you're not the best version of yourself around every single person.
Yeah, I am.
You know?
Yeah.
You are?
Oh, yeah.
You have that energy?
Well, so when I went and did this movie.
Yeah. Your own movie doesn't count as that. Of course,
no. But I called Kale and I said, I'm going to be sober for the entire
The movie
production.
that I read for that I couldn't have. Where you cast an unknown Russian person? that movie you're talking about?
That movie.
That I totally read?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know how much fun we would have had on fucking set?
Yeah, I do. That's why I asked to be in it. I had this relationship with fucking Legendary, and they're like, "Oh, we're making a movie with your friend." I'm like, "Let me read for it," and they're like, "We're not going to give you the part."
They wanted it to be Eastern European.
And was it?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes me feel better. Versus we gave it to a girl from Burbank.
I will tell you. There's so much I can say about this that I won't. But we read a lot of Eastern European chicks. I guess there's a whole thing about someone trying to put on accents.
What?
I don't know.
I don't understand what you're saying.
If you're not British, you can't play a British person or something.
Oh, like an appropriation thing?
Yeah.
I don't think it applies to white people.
I think it does.
No, I don't think it matters. I don't think those are the people being oppressed. Like, if you're not gay and you play a gay role, it's like a different thing. But I don't think it counts if we're all from the Caucasus Mountains.
Can I tell you the joke I wrote as you were telling a story?
Mm-hmm.
You know, people go, I don't see color. I go, I don't see gender.
Yeah.
And then they're like, so you just suck dudes' dicks?
I just suck every dick.
Yeah, I go, I guess so.
Be like, I suck his dick. I suck her dick.
I suck her dick.
I'm just sucking on dick.
I sucked Dave's dick last night.
Totally.
I said to someone the other day, I've been wanting to do this joke forever and slide it in. I've been wanting to do it. I did it perfectly. Isla's dyslexic. And someone's like, there's a rumor that ... a comedian can't read. And I go, did you know Tom Segura can't count? And they're like, what? I go, yeah, he can't count. He never learned how to count. And everyone went, wow. And everyone just kept going. And then one person, Shane Gillis, was like, hold on. So wait, hold on. How did he never learn how to count? And I was like, I don't know, it just happened. And he was like, so when he sees things, he goes, 5, 9.
He just picks numbers.
Yeah. And I go, I don't know. And he goes, hold on. Everyone stop. This isn't a thing. Everyone knows how to count. And I was like, not him. No, can I tell you what I don't know if it bums me out, but I don't. It makes me feel. It's like it makes me feel off when I see black dudes from the UK play old Southern black dudes from America.
Are you talking about a specific actor?
I think so. Like, no, there was a movie like about Martin Luther King, and I think a British dude played Martin Luther King, and I was like, "That's so."
Are you talking about? Hold on. Judas and the Black Messiah.
Was that it?
Yes, and that's not Martin Luther King.
Whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But it just seems odd because
You're talking about Daniel Kaluuya.
Oh, I think I'm actually talking about Martin Luther King, to be dead honest with you.
Okay, I think you're talking about Daniel Kaluuya and Judas and the Black Messiah because he's British.
Was my buddy's in the movie? I watched the movie. It was my buddy's movie.
Okay, I don't know how good of friends you are if you don't know.
No, I'll tell you if I see it.
I mean, this is what you're describing. Is like an American civil rights.
This is an example, but it also happens.
Talking about Fred Hampton.
No, I'm actually talking about the guy. I think
you could be, but
yeah, okay. This is
it is weird that what I described is exactly what you're talking about, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah, maybe it's the same thing. But like, how do you feel about that? Do you go like, yeah, it's fine?
Yeah, I don't care.
But there is a thing for an appropriation, like
no, because that's not appropriation. It doesn't.
But it doesn't go backward. They don't flip it. Oh, it does.
Exactly.
Don Cheadle played.
That's like there's no. John Cheadle also played like an African person in Hotel Rwanda. It's not.
Is that bad?
No, because it's not a. Also, it was forever ago, and like we need to like let go. I mean, Eddie Murphy said "faggot" a lot. Like we need to move on from these things.
A lot. Have you watched the beginning of Raw?
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it is like I now think my parents are bad people. How hard they were laughing at those jokes. Like I remember watching that. I didn't know what those words were. Right. I was too young, and my fucking family is. Oh, they get AIDS. Like, it's just,
right.
They're gonna die. They sit on the top of the car. Woo, woo.
It is, nobody cares about context. The context of somehow retroactively art that you made 10, 15, 20 years ago is under like a modern day microscope. And it's like, cool, then everyone's canceled.
But some things really don't translate. Like we watched Grease last night.
Oh, yeah.
And Danny gives her his school ring.
Yeah.
And then she goes, oh, I'm so glad that means you respect me. And he goes, oh. And then he tries to sexually assault her.
After hitting her in the boob with his hand. Your thing, just because I do, I mean, they're like, there's no such thing as reverse racism. When they talk about like, you shouldn't play the role, like if you're not that, it's less about a bad impression or appropriation and more about marginalized people traditionally not having access to any roles. Oh. That's what the whole thing is. So like, for example, like there was this really great documentary, because I'm a mom, I can't remember the name, Disclosure, is that what it's called? But it was about the way trans people, like how they've always been in the industry, but it was always like in Ace Ventura, right? Like she becomes
that didn't age well.
Right. I mean, Disclosure, there it is. It's about like how trans people were always maligned as like a serial killer, whatever.
Ventura, they find out she's transgendered and they all throw up.
They throw up. That one's an argument. It is like a 2-minute vomit scene.
They're like,
that one's an outlier because.
By the way, he does. I think when he pulls her skirt off, and then he spins her around and goes, and you see a lump of cock, and he's like, Dan Marino's throwing up. It is fucking. But it's so much funnier now than it was then because you're like, you definitely can't do that.
Definitely can't do it. But also that one is an outlier. People will point that because that person's not transgender. Like he was pretending to be a woman.
She was
Sean.
I hope she never hears this, but she had like a notorious reputation for being out of her fucking mind.
I think she knows that.
Okay.
I don't think
I hated if she was a huge fan of mine and then she was like, the only thing that gets me by right now.
She's like, I didn't know that I lost I didn't know people thought I was a nut,
Yeah.
But anyways, the point is.
We keep doing more of these. Do more because this make me laugh.
That one is not the same. But the point was.
Revenge of the Nerds when he rapes her.
He rapes her.
He rapes her.
And she's like, you feel the same as my boyfriend. I won't question this.
Yeah. He straight up rapes her. And by the way, he's a virgin.
Yeah. So it could have been, no way that was going to feel good. Anyways, the point is people always argue. They're like, oh, is that appropriation? It's more about a role that someone of that could be playing, like giving a Native American to a white person, like when there is a capable actor. I understand if you're going for star power and you don't have that, and sometimes actors are just better at whatever, but I get that. Like, I get if I'm like a black actor, I guess you can't play white if you're black, depending on who you are, but I get if I'm gay and I want these parts and I'm always being told I've got to play like someone who's super foppish and they give the gay role to someone straight. So it's I think it's about access.
You're right. And I heard. Have you seen Bros?
I didn't see it.
Fuck.
But I heard.
I tell you, I'm dying to break this movie down with someone.
Oh, I didn't see it. I'm sorry. But I did see. Was it Fire Island, which was also like a super fun gay comedy with like Joel Kim Booster.
Secret Time. You know that I think there were beef between those two gay communities.
So that's
meaning the people who made that movie, and then Bros, because the marketing of Bros was this is the first
right, which is wrong
rom-com,
and a lot of gay people were like, that's really fucked up. Like, I'm not going to sit here with like a discography of like every gay movie, but I will say this as a woman in comedy, there is this pressure on you when you do something to be like, well, she's the first woman to do this. Well, she's the woman that's doing this. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other people that have done that.
Yeah.
And there is this pressure to make it this special thing. And I think what happened with Bros, like it didn't do that well. I haven't seen the movie, but then Billy Eichner wrote this whole thing, like getting angry at his community. And there was this op-ed piece. Stop it. I can't catch her. There was this op-ed piece that I thought was super informed. And it was like, Bros should be allowed to tank just like a straight comedy.
Yeah.
So when you are a minority or when you are a woman and your thing eats shit or doesn't do well, you have to answer for all of your people, and other people attempting to do that have to answer for you. So, for example, when I was coming up, you know, if a woman in comedy, if she had something that didn't do well, I would have to be like, why do you think that was that she failed? And I'd be like, I don't know. We're not the same person. Yeah. So there is this like weird responsibility.
Like if you're a bad driver and you're Asian, that doesn't mean all Asian people are bad drivers.
It's just really unfortunate for you.
Yeah, and you're like, well, you're like, hold on, I'm just a bad driver.
Yeah.
Don't let this speak for my community.
Like I always say this to women too. If you get up there and you eat shit, people will reinforce. They'll be like, yeah, women aren't funny. However, if you get up there on a lineup and you fucking murder, people are only going to remember you and not the 6 other dudes who look exactly the same on that lineup. And so it's this like, do you want to be a victim or do you want to be empowered about this? There's
that Sarah Silverman quote of I've said this now twice in this chair. Men are complaining that they're not getting the same opportunities that they used to. No, we're just asking you to be exceptional.
There you go.
Because we had to be exceptional. So now you have to be exceptional.
Yeah.
So be exceptional. I did it. Yeah. See if you can do it.
She's totally right. Yeah. And it happens day to day. Like, this is not about me. Like, oh, woe is me. But like, when I get upset about something, like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I wonder how they're going to perceive that. Versus if you were just like, yo, I need you guys to not fuck up again. Like, you have.
Funny. I didn't think Bros was. We actually all watched it on the flight to Europe.
I don't know if it was bad or good. I just know that it didn't do as well as they wanted.
It didn't do as well as they wanted, but I think. But I don't know why.
But
I liked it.
People didn't. I don't know. I don't know anything about the movie, but I do know that piece that was written about it. If a movie like that fails, we cannot just say it's a gay thing. Like, maybe it was like the better thing to do is to judge it on its content.
I'll tell you this. I can tell you that there are probably scenes in that movie that make men uncomfortable.
For sure.
That you would not see in a rom-com.
But his criticism.
We went back and forth going so the first thing I said was there more sex scenes in that than a regular one?
Right.
Or am I noticing them because it's a dude
because it's two
fucking
dudes.
A dude in the ass?
You'd have to do like a Bechdel test on that one. But
oh, nice. All right, we'll wrap this up.
Also, I will say, oh my God, this is my life. You're nothing like Blanche. That movie for whatever reason, people didn't see it.
Yeah.
I remember at the time, and I think Billy Eichner's very funny, but he had this thing. He's like, gay people didn't show up for it. You're not under an obligation just because you are part of a community to blindly support something.
Yeah, I didn't storm the Capitol. And I should have. I mean, I feel like I let my people down, but I just, it's like hey, I had other things to do that day.
Comedian Bert Kreischer finally says something political.
Yeah.
And that's like, you see this with women in comedy, like, what, so why don't you blindly support all women? That's not feminism, and that's not equality.
Yeah.
That's like saying you're black, you have to love all rappers. Like, that's bullshit, because then you're not judging it on the content. And I've always been about that. So what I love, what's unfortunate is that when a movie that is for a marginalized people doesn't do well, people use it as this totem, like, well, see, those don't do well, ignoring all the ones that did do well.
Yeah.
And so that's what we have to get past, is like, you're allowed to not do as well and represent a group of people, and you should still get another at bat.
Like Battlefield Earth.
Like, just like Battlefield Earth.
We should have more Scientology movies.
I mean, I feel like they have a whole library.
Every time people bring up Scientology, to me, it makes sense.
Was it the Master or
the Master and Commander?
Yeah.
No.
No, the P.T. Anderson one.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson.
The
Wasn't
Master.
that about Scientology?
The Master. Yeah. I also saw Master and Commander, which I thought was a real story about James Cook. It's not.
Is there another story about James Cook that we're telling?
Do you know James Cook couldn't swim? The guy that discovered Hawaii?
I know. No, he discovered Australia.
He mapped Australia.
Okay.
He mapped Australia.
I only know this because somebody pointed it out like 2 weeks ago on my trip.
He mapped Australia. He took his time and he mapped all of Australia. He was great at mapping. As a matter of fact, James Cook also mapped the Delaware for am I thinking of the wrong guy?
Yep, you are.
No, I'm not. Okay. No, I'm not. I know. I just watched a whole documentary on James Cook.
So he was a brilliant cartographer.
He was a brilliant cartographer.
But can I tell you a fact about James Cook?
I have so many. Keep going. Go.
He couldn't count.
That is a perfect way to end this podcast. Your book. You have a book?
I brought you a copy. The book came out a while ago.
You can still get it on Amazon?
No, it's out of print. It was so popular. I'm bringing you. No, you could definitely get it. Please get it from a local bookstore. I wrote you an inscription. I don't think you're going to read it, but you have it now. This is my book. Will you read the inscription?
Yeah.
But then I want to talk to you about something else after the podcast.
Okay. About what? About what we were talking about earlier? So, Bert, you can enjoy this with your shirt on or off. Liza.
I thought it was very personal. And I brought you chocolate from New Zealand.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Boy, I have another secret to tell you.
Oh, man.
We have so many secrets to catch up with.
Okay.
It's just short time. We should end this so we can tell secrets.
I feel like I always end by being like, I root for you. I love you. But I do. And now I need to like level up. And like my podcast is just my Zoom recorder when I sit on my couch. But now I need to buy a house in Malibu and get Malibu. I was trying to make people think you live in Malibu.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
right on the PCH.
Yep.
That's where we are.
Guys, Malibu it is.
Fuck. Get like Bert.
Fuck yeah.